G'day guys, Jason here and welcome along to one of the updates and tips and strategies, the videos that we do each week to sort of get people fired up and see if we can't give you some tips that really get you rolling as a property investor. Today I want to talk about something that's pretty cool, the 1% Club. I don't know if you know that when you look, no matter which way you look at society, you carve up the people who succeed, the wealthy, the sports stars, the property investors, the people at the top of their game. It will be a ratio of 1% make it and 99% don't. Now that sounds a bit negative, it sounds a bit morbid, but hey listen, the same ratios apply as property investors. But I want to give you today a little bit of an overview of the population and how property investors fit into it. I want to point out how as property investors we can break through from the 99% into the 1%, because I think it's actually very, very easy. I've been coaching for many, many years and many people have found themselves stuck as a property investor at maybe 2 or 3 property investments and are finding it hard to break through, and there's a number of very simple things that people can do to break through into that success place, the 1% of people who make it as a property investor. In our definition, the definition of successful property investors. So let me do a little bit of a drawing here to show you a bit of example of what I mean. And let's have a look at this pyramid, and let's have a look at the top of this pyramid is 1%. This is the people who make it, 1% Club. And these are the people who end up with all the money, the wealthy, and the people who get to choose what they do in their life because they're financially free. They have all the choices in the world. And let's take a look at the general population. I don't know if you've seen this before, it's been around for a little while. Out of 100 people in the general population, the statistics show us that out of 100 people, 17 people will die in their lifetime and not get to the end of the 1% idea where you get to take your money and use it and have fun with it. They don't get there, they die, unfortunately. We don't want to be in that group, do we? 74% of this, or 74 of this 100 people, or 74% of the population will end up on welfare or living below the poverty line. Now that's a horrific concept, that we could work all of our lives and end up on the welfare or under the poverty line, especially as property investors, especially in the lucky country Australia. We've got so many opportunities to create wealth very simply. It's not get rich quick, very simply as property investors over the length of our working life, which might be 30 or 40 years. Okay, we don't want to end up there. We don't want to end up as the 74 on welfare or under the poverty line. 7 people will still end up needing to work when they retire to fund their lifestyle, or capable of working, funding their lifestyle. 3% of people, or 3%, get there. And what do I mean by get there? Just become at least financially independent. They've paid the home off and they've got over $500,000 in their super. But most people who are retiring right now with those types of numbers realize that that's not enough. Most people are going to live to 80, 85, 90. Medical advances are allowing us to live for a lot longer, and most people, when you do the mathematics, you run out of money. And it's a sad fact that even these people here are going to run out of money at some point in their retirement. They might live it up for a short time, but it's not long enough, it's not enough. There's only 1% of the population that make it to this magic place, that 1% of the population end up wealthy, financially secure. It's not surprising when you take a look that actually 1% of the population, just shy of 1% of the population in Australia, are actually millionaires. So 1% of the population get to financial freedom, 1% of the population are millionaires in Australia, and the 1% theme continues on the other side in the property investors world as well. In Australia, we have just shy of 1.2 million property investors. That means they have 1 or more property investments over and above their own home. So 1.2 million property investors, okay? And so let's look at the stats and let's see where we end up as property investors. 1.2 million has 1 investment property, okay? How many have got 2 investment properties? We have 450,000 of these 1.2 million have 2 investment properties. Most people are in this range that we see at Positive Real Estate, and they get stuck, okay? This is what I call the glass ceiling, and they are in a place called the danger zone. They've gotten there without much education and hardly any support from anyone who's been there before. Because Australians love a DIY action, you know, we love property and we love to go and do it ourselves. Nothing wrong with that. But if you want to go through this ceiling, you want to get out of DIY and want to become a successful, sophisticated property investor, you need to punch through here and get to the right spot. Above that ceiling, the numbers decline extremely quickly, okay? Now from 2 to 3 properties, we only have 150,000 investors. From 3 to 4 properties, we only have 60,000 investors. And from 4 to 5 investment properties, there's 28,000 property investors. The magic number in the 1%, which is 6 or more property investments, where financial freedom occurs for property investors, and I'll show you the numbers in a minute. There is 15,000 property investors have 6 or more properties. In my world, I encourage all of our property investors at the right time in their property investment career to eliminate debt and maximize income. We don't want as property investors to own 30 properties and have them leveraged to the hilt, bank finance and debt for the future. We want to have a portfolio that is debt-free and with high income. And so let's say we achieve the nirvana after investing for a period of time, might be 10 years, might be 15 years, might be 20 years, and you ended up with 6 investment properties as a property investor. Now 6 investment properties up here, debt-free, so we've paid them off. We don't owe any money, and let's just say the average property is worth $350,000. You'd end up with $2.1 million worth of real estate. Now I'm not putting any capital growth into this equation, so let's just say no growth occurred and you just paid them off, okay? And we can show you how you structure to do that very efficiently and very quickly. We had $2.1 million worth of real estate. We had an average rental yield of 7%. And in positive real estate, we aim between 6 and 7%. Average rental yield is the sweet spot. You would end up with $140,000 worth of passive rental income and $2 million worth of properties owned outright. Now that, my friends, is the 1% club. That is where financial freedom occurs. It is an extremely simple and achievable thing when you make a plan over the next 7 to 10, 15 years as a property investor. What happens is we don't get there because we get caught, we get stuck right here. And a few of the main reasons we get stuck is we don't understand finance. Finance is very, very important. We buy the wrong properties, we buy negatively geared properties, and that takes money out of your pocket. It takes money out of your pocket. You want properties to put money in your pocket after tax, and they don't get a coach or have a mentor. Every single person who lives in this 1% club either has one now or has had one in the past, a coach, a mentor. They get educated, they get shown the way. Okay? Don't try and reinvent the wheel. The pathway is already there. At Positive Real Estate, we have our property investment nights all over the country, and our coaches who are in this 1% club take those nights and they teach people how to get through this barrier or even start from scratch and start on this journey over a good medium to long-term investment strategy. So get along to one of our property investment nights. I'll talk about this stuff in detail, and you'll get to meet some other like-minded property investors who want to be in that 1% club. So listen guys, until I see you around in person, hopefully in the 1% club, take care, bye for now, and get along to one of those nights.